Hello and welcome back to another video. In this problem, we're given 4 graphs, and we're asked which of the following best shows a strong negative association between D and T. Especially, let's try and see which ones have a negative association. And that means as T increases, D decreases. And this is the same thing as saying as T decreases, D increases. But when we're measuring over T, it's a little bit easier to visualize it based off of this, but these are basically saying the same thing. So in part A, what is the relationship there? So as T increases in all of these graphs, we're going to be looking from left to right. So from left to right, D is going from a higher value to a lower value, so T is decreasing. So in A, as T increases, D decreases. So A is negative. For B, as T increases from left to right, the value of D doesn't really change. It stays roughly around this mark. It changes a little bit, but this is neither negative nor positive. For C, as T increases from left to right, the value of D goes from a smaller value to a larger value. So as T increases, D also increases, so that means it's positive. And for D, as T increases from left to right, D goes from a higher value to a lower value, so it's negative. Since again, by our definition, as T increases, D decreases. So we're looking for a strong negative association. So B is not negative and C is not negative. So we're down to A and D, and now we have to see which one of these is a strong association. And to understand that, we have to actually look at the graph. And if it's a strong association, if the data is tightly packed, right? So if we're looking at A, and I said, okay, we're looking at this time right here, what would you guess is the estimated value of D at this T? And you could say, okay, based on this data, it's probably somewhere from here to around there, right? If it was somewhere in that range, right, and you found a point, let's say it was here, that wouldn't be surprising. If the point was up here, that wouldn't be surprising. And if it was down here, that wouldn't be surprising because it would fit the pattern of the data. If you're looking at D, and you say, okay, at this T, what is the estimated? You could say, okay, maybe I'd expect it to be from like here to here. And this is a much smaller range than this. The data is more tightly packed, so that means this is a strong association, right? Just based off the data, you could get a really good guess. This is a weak association. You can make a guess. There is a correlation between D and T, but you're not going to have a very good answer. So our strong negative association is going to be D.